we will see. Oh, there we go. Hello.
There you go. Thanks for saving us. We were kind of lonely here.
Oh, it's getting quiet.
End of the year.
Yeah. I do notice that we have, I think, a bit less builders around these days. Less people complaining about Clarinet, less downloads. And I know there are bugs, so when people don't complain,
Yeah, that's good.
It means that they don't use it.
Yeah. So I guess the opening question, what clarity function can we write to pump the price up?
So actually, what do you think about the tools around like Stack.js, other frameworks, how Stacks Connect, how does it integrate with wallets and everything? Like, where do you think the focus should be? More on clarity, on the blockchain, on the tooling? I think that's a good question as well.
Yeah, so again, I guess with Ryu here, I don't have too much in the agenda outside of some open floor questions that I wanted to ask. I think contract block sell. Yeah, there we go. I think one of the questions that I have that is very interesting, and maybe there's some good answers here from other people. How do we leverage clarity and stacks to take advantage of the friction popping up in L1 right now? So if you like, is anyone here not aware of what's going on with core versus not, and BIP 444, and now this new BIP that's been the cat? Okay, cool. So Gary, you're not.
Nope.
Okay, cool. So long story short, there's a really, really big civil war brewing in Bitcoin right now between two camps. One camp is core, one camp is knots, KNOT. Knots started their own node client that basically filters out what are inscriptions and other types of quote-unquote arbitrary data or quote-unquote spam. Knots is very mad at core because in V30 there was a very controversial update to opreturn where it changed the limit of the opreturn opcode from 83 bytes to, I think it was like 10,000 bytes. And so the camp in Knots saw that as an explicit acceptance of spam and almost an encouragement of spam and arbitrary data on the L1. Core's argument, which is, for what it's worth, guys, I am on the core side here. Core's argument is that it's inevitable that people try to put arbitrary data in the L1. And so after seeing this battle play out cycle after cycle after cycle, the best way to deal with this issue is to create a venue for putting arbitrary data that is least dangerous to the network, which is why that increase in opreturn happened. Since then, however, things have only gotten worse, with the Knots camp proposing a BIP that has a few controversial changes to stop inscriptions. Again, two of the things like I really push back on are, one, they want to remove op-if from TapScript, and two, they want to limit the depth of branches in the Taproot script to a depth of 7. So that means you can never have more than 2 to the 7 different tap leaves in a tap tree. Yesterday, someone else from the Knots camp came out with another BIP that is, in my opinion, even wilder, called The Cat. And the idea of this BIP is basically to make any inscription or any UTXO that has less than 1,000 sats and has arbitrary data attached to it not spendable. So basically, they want to confiscate like any UTXO that seems like it's an arbitrary data play. I think all this is, and for what it's worth, like I'm some of you guys will even disagree with this. I actually hate inscriptions and ruins and meta protocols. Like I think they're poorly designed. I think the UX will never be good. I have a lot of like pushbacks against meta protocols in general. However, I will say that Core is definitely arguing from a technical standpoint, and I'm still in that camp where it's like that increase in op return is simply because you can never stop people from putting arbitrary data in L1. This is the least dangerous way for them to do it. So people seem to, the Knots camp seems to paint Core as like explicitly one scam, and that's just like not the case. I think Core is coming very much from a technical standpoint. Okay. I guess like I'll open with some questions, but the better question with this is like, how do we leverage stacks and clarity and take advantage of this friction that is coming up between the two parties? DeOrganized, what's up?
Yeah, so it just occurs to me, from a stack standpoint, it seems like a benefit to our ecosystem and what we do if they limit what you can do on the L1. Because it makes more, well, I guess that also limits how we can facilitate certain things on the L1 too. Like, but it does seem to maybe in general make a more use case for stacks.
Yeah, I agree. I think if anything, I'm in the camp of we should be like anything that is inscriptions, ruins, arbitrary rate data related works better on the L2, and I think stacks is very much proof that like we actually built a pretty sick and slick UX and ecosystem around that. So how do we, like, what can we do to take advantage of this, again, this brewing battle, and position ourselves in a way where we're appealing to both camps?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked sort of the mother chain to be, you know, free of from like central bank kind of policy that constrains the net, you know, how the network works. I understand it has to be super simple. So I think like I like that about Bitcoin, that it's like most common denominator in the sense that it's just very primitive and but that's why you have L2. So I actually like I'm with you on it. I don't know why you need not, because then I mean it just seems like sort of a very specific kind of like a use case for a group of people that want to kind of whatever rip on what they don't like and then create their own kind of thing. I just don't see it being massively adopted, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Hero Gamer. Bitcoin friendly POX. I look at how we can make our stored data more efficient. Yeah, it can be it can be without much sacrifice. Yeah, I think if I think the things that come to my mind is like, how do we make it seamless for anyone working on the L1 to bridge over any of the two meta protocols, so ruins and inscriptions? Honestly, we should ask ourselves, why haven't they done that in the first place? Because, you know, the people have been able to. So the question is, why haven't they? And then are there any other potential things that we could build that would appeal to those crowds? Yeah, go for it, Rafa. And we definitely don't have to raise our hands here. Yeah, I know you're really cool. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. I can finally make it. I recognize a lot of you guys. I'm not entirely sure what's the TLDR because I arrived 5 minutes late. So perhaps like for a couple of us, if you're not against it, like I know time is of the essence, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the TLDR. In terms of, actually, I don't know if this is the topic of today's working group, but what is your opinion of OpCat versus CTV and why in like two sentences?
Yeah, we talked about this during in that DM. I've always preferred CTV versus CAT, mainly because my understanding is that CAT can do a lot of things okay, but nothing particularly very, very well. And CTV seems just like a very straightforward update to me. though what you explained about Merkle being able to push Merkle proofs on chain, yeah, I mean that is appealing. I guess the only question I was going to shoot back with that is, like, I guess, how is that different from having proofs that can be verified through op return statements already? Yeah, I have no strong pushback against Cat. I would not like, position against it if it were proposed. I just have always preferred CTV because I understood the upsides a lot more easily. That's my perspective.
Yeah, I guess there's some education I need to do on that CTV stuff, because I don't grasp sort of in depth what's happening there. But at the high level, the pushback we get from people is, the SBTC bridge is not trustless. Like, you cannot write back to Bitcoin. You have a trust minimized setup, etc. And they don't go deeper into, this is still best in class compared to, other stuff, or essentially, yeah. My understanding is like Upcat is allowing for that write back to Bitcoin that is going to, allow SBTC to potentially upgrade when this comes out, and other rollups and other L2s to scale without that, that always like, what's going to happen if there's a hack? What are the edge cases, etc. This removes completely. I don't know if the up return proof that you're talking about is actually also helping on that front. But anyways, I do a webinar every Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, building a trust minimized bridge for runes. Everyone is welcome. It's at fact.fund/capsule.
Do you want to share a little more about Capsule? Because I haven't really been on the up and up. I've seen a couple of posts, but I'd love to hear a little more about it.
Yeah, man, I'd love to have you on Sunday at 4 p.m. Essentially, so I use Friedger's and Hank's libraries, Clarity. And when you deposit your runes into stacks, it's entirely governed by Clarity. Clarity is able to read your Bitcoin transaction. The way it works is you create a multisig where you are a signer. So on the peg out, you have also to sign. There's no honeypot, so to speak. Like, everyone has their own capsule. And on the peg in, again, Clarity is able to, and that's what I've been demonstrating. It reads your Bitcoin transaction from your wallet to your multisig, where you own your signature, alongside with a set of other signers. I'm actually inviting people in the ecosystem to for this to become a signer as well, and talking to different entities. Like Kat is saying hi to everyone. Yeah, Clarity is able to read the amount that you send in the up return, the runes ID in the up return, UTXO that your multisig is receiving, therefore being the owner of that runes transaction that you send. So there's no ambiguity at all when you're depositing your runes into stacks via the capsule.
That's pretty cool. So it's like almost like a stacks wrapper around runes kind of thing, like high level.
Yep, exactly. You put your runes in a capsule. That deposit is read by Clarity, and then the minting is the privilege of the operator, meaning that it's not it's the oracle is Clarity, it's not the signers. And then when you want to withdraw, obviously you're going to burn the runes L2. I call it the square runes, and then that's when we don't have that capacity to write back to Bitcoin, and the signers are going to read that you've burned it, see that 6 blocks have passed, and then approve your transaction along with your transaction on L1, along with your signature that you want to send back your runes back from your capsule to your wallet.
So like for like a noob, like what's an advantage? Like, what could I do with Capsule that I can't do just with like runes directly?
So Stacks is programmable, so you can imagine anything. Obviously, the obvious use cases are being able to trade. leveraging something like concentrated liquidity, where even if you have like low liquidity, you'll have low slippage. Obviously Slack is under 5 seconds, and cheap transactions. Nobody in Africa, for example, from some target segments are using Bitcoin L1. They use Lightning because it's much cheaper. But you can imagine any other stuff. Trading on L1 is like you have to do it per lot, or sometimes it's gated. I know there's advancements with companies like RadFi.co, but things like experiments, like having a merchant. If you do XYZ, then you can buy pizza using pizza. Stacks is the limit is your imagination.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense. That's awesome.
Question for Jesus. The way you described it, arbitrary data is either being seen as or becoming a vector of attack. I don't want to put words in your mouth. How would you describe it?
I would describe it again. My stance, and I want to make it very, very clear. My stance is meta protocols in general on Bitcoin are poorly designed, will not scale, and do not have good experience. But just by the pure nature, the pure mechanical nature of Bitcoin. That being said, I'm wrapping all those around arbitrary data, and I'm saying I don't think there are any good solutions for stopping arbitrary data in an L1, and in fact there are much more dangerous solutions that if we start pushing one or two pseudo solutions, we push people to use those worse trade-offs. And so to me, like that's what I'm trying, that's what I think we should try to avoid. And more importantly, the point of this clarity group, or how like we ended up having this discussion during this group, is what can we do as as builders and stacks to appeal to sort of both camps that, hey, yeah, like we want to be able to do stuff on top of Bitcoin, but the mother chain isn't the best place for this, but maybe an L2 like Stacks is.
So you're saying for the people who are interested in such and such transactions, attract them to Stacks as a target market segment? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. So to push arbitrary data on Stacks instead.
Gotcha. No, I understand now. Okay. So I put a link in the chat. I can share it on Twitter. I wrote down everything you said, because like if you're talking about it, it's probably important. You're in security. Right? So I took down everything you said and I put it into Grok. I'm not sure if it's correct, but I'm glad you're talking about it.
Thank you. Yeah, and yeah, anyone else, like feel free to jump in. Again, this is very much like an open dialogue. But I think it's very, very interesting point we're at with Bitcoin culturally, where there's two really big camps splitting up, and I haven't seen this since 2017.
Can you give us a TLDR of your position for those who missed the 5 first minutes?
Yeah, sure. The TLDR is that spam is 1, undefinable, and 2, impossible to stop on Bitcoin L1, but just impossible. And to give you guys an example of something that again is arbitrary data that to me is much more dangerous, we can create a multi-sig script where every symbol pub key is actually just a piece of arbitrary data, and those pub keys put together from this multi-sig are actually the data source that we want to put in Bitcoin. That is a much more dangerous way of stuffing data on chain. And so my position is, I think Core is right in that they're trying to make the path for adding arbitrary data to be the least dangerous possible to the network, which is why they raised the limit of op return from 83 bytes to 10,000 bytes in V30. Again, Knott's position is that update explicitly embraces spam, explicitly embraces arbitrary data, and I'm in the position of no, it doesn't explicitly endorse that. In fact, very few core devs actually want spam and arbitrary data on the L1, but they're coming from the technical argument of this is the least dangerous way to the network to allow people to do so.
So just to clarify, it's dangerous because then you create a multisig that people send Bitcoin to, and your Bitcoin is trapped.
Right, because you're creating UTXOs that can never leave the UTXO set.
Okay. And today that's not possible, or is it possible?
It is, and there has been an increase in unspendable UTXOs. But unspendable UTXOs are one of the worst way, or like that is like one of the worst ways to affect nodes, because again, you don't need to have every block in a node in order to verify a transaction, but you always need the UTXO set, or like the set of UTXOs. And so bloating that pool is what we should try to avoid as much as possible.
What do you think of the debate between bloating and having actual transaction? Because in the past, I don't know, I saw a stat from the DeOrganized Twitter account that 36% of, I don't know what period, but past period of transactions were made by Rune's protocol.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't particularly care. I think it's a bad UX. I think it's poorly designed. I think it's bad mechanics. Again, like look at what we did in Stacks. Do we have a the Stacks 20 standard that we made for like a couple months, right? Like, I'm sorry, stuffing JSON into a transaction and then like moving off that is just not a good UX, right? Like SIP10 tokens were designed a specific way for a specific reason, just like ERC20 tokens were, just like et cetera, et cetera.
How would you design a good UX but on L1, not
I would
on L2? And don't you see a use case for it?
I wouldn't. I think that's what L2s are for. That's why I'm in L2 world, right? Like that's why I came to Stacks, because I think that like short of pushing hashes on the L1, which is again how Stacks works, right? Every single block has a block header hash, etc. Like that to me is the perfect trade-off of, hey, this is very verifiable on the L1, but hey, we're putting all this extra activity on the L2. Like that's why I really like working in the L2 space on Bitcoin, because it's
how much more the L2 has to scale for activity on Bitcoin to become relevant?
That's really the question, right? Is like, I mean, it may not even. It's a matter of like which L2 is going to continue growing and winning, right? And I think we at Stacks definitely can't take it for granted that it will be us, especially after the last 2 years where we saw a ton of L2s get funded, launched. There's Arc, there's Spark, there's Arcade, there's Satria, there's teams building on BitVM, there's Alpin. I'm missing more. There's Arch. Yeah, so there's a bunch of L2s that have launched. Like we really can't take it for granted that people are going to flock here. The question is, what can we build to get people coming here or two, what can we build that shows to L1 like, hey, this is where all people that want to do this extra stuff that is still verified on Bitcoin, you should do it in our ecosystem.
Respectfully, I think my opinion is the opposite. I think seeing lots of L2s and L1.5, right, something like Arc popping up is actually showing that the thesis is playing out. And competition to me is always a signal of like, yes, expansion is coming. Like, if there were no competition, I would believe, okay, this is no good for Stacks. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have the in-depth of like other chains, but I love clarity.
Me too.
What
bow tie looks like you're gonna space him. Sorry, go ahead, Gary.
do we need? Do we know what the general, like, why would somebody be motivated to build on the L1 versus coming to an L2 to Stacks? I think that understanding what the pain points are there is how you figure out how to make something more attractive on stacks.
Let's ask the runes believer, Rafa. Why do you think so?
I think Gary had a similar question, like cheaper, faster, like depending on your audience, like cheaper, faster transaction is really, really big, like Lightning in Africa, like a lot of audience only use Lightning, but they don't. The thing is, like, yeah, perhaps something like Breeze is working on that is interesting, like to be able to reflect automatically or instantaneously, like for the UX for the user is something that interests me, like for that target segment. But yeah, obviously, it's expensive, it's slow, it's it's not programmable. All you guys are, most of us here are tech, so we know these things.
Yeah, go for it. We don't need to raise hands.
Yeah, just checking in. Jesus, I share your opinion. I think this is the most important strength Bitcoin has and the edge Bitcoin has compared to Ethereum, for example, because these separate the concerns of storage and programmability, which sounds great because programmability can mess up stuff. So yeah, this is why you cannot break Bitcoin so easy, and you cannot see as many exploits as you can see on Ethereum.
Exactly. Yeah, curious. Is anyone here pro knots? I would imagine no.
That was an open question.
Well, Gary asked that in the message. Hey, go for it, Kwame.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I do have a question with Clarity 4. It has a new timestamp feature, and I'm porting a standard from Ethereum over to Stacks. And I was wondering, like, is Clarinet updated to support Clarity 4? And if it's not, how do I go about working with Clarity 4 deploying smart contracts on testnet? I could only get it to work with Clarity 3 in Clarinet.
I believe it does. We actually had the maintainer for Clarinet here like a couple minutes ago. Look, Kwame, if you look at the messages in this video, you can see that Frigo responded.
Yeah, so 3.11 has the default for all Clarity contracts as Clarity 4.
Do I just because when I switched it in the configuration, it only said like 1, 2, 3. It didn't give me an option to use 4. So like,
you need to update your Clarinet version.
Okay, I thought it did,
and
but
also,
I'm not really new to this, so.
Yeah, and then also if you're using Visual Studio Code or an extension, you need to update that as well. So there is a document where it says what you need to upgrade. Let me see whether I find it.
Like also, are you like the guy who runs the pool?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh man, I've been on that since like 2020.
I love you.
It's really good to actually see the person that sends me like stacks twice a month. Nice. Cool. Nice to meet you, man. I wish I could go camera. Hopefully we'll be able to talk in the future.
Cool.
Frieder is a legend. Absolute legend. Crazy. It's hilarious.
Okay, cool. That was basically like the only open floor question I had. Again, I think there's a really interesting time period going on right now with with what's going on with core knots. And yeah, I think we as Stacks should try to take advantage as much as we can of this current friction.
Also for Kwame, you may want to use the epoch as 3.3 in the Clarinet configuration file, because maybe that's why a version is not accepted, as 3.3 is not yet latest, and yeah, and 3.2 does not have Clarity 4, so maybe you want to check that as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
What are you building? I'm curious.
It's a standard on Ethereum called ERC 8001. It's a agent coordination framework, and I'm bringing it over. Well, I'm trying to bring it over to Stacks. I have a compiled version that I deployed last week with the help of WoBuddy, but the timestamp part would be perfectly mapped to the standard, which is in last call right now. So it's at the stage where you can have this like communication layer between agents running on Ethereum and communicating with agents that are running on Stacks, and being able to transfer value from chain to chain via agents and like a trustless communication kind of language between the two.
That sounds exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. The community here has been helping me out, and it's been a really great experience. I do have another question. In my search, like Clarity is not really like it's tough for me. I'm learning it as I go, and everybody's been really helpful. But I found this this project. Sorry, it's called like Clarity Script. It seems to be like an ancient project. Well, it's like 5 years ago, so it's probably at the beginning. And I was wondering, like, could this be updated? Like, would this help, like, people who are new to the Stacks ecosystem and kind of get scared off by a Lisp style language? Like, it's great, but it's kind of like a, hard to wrap people's heads around. Do you think like things like this particular project would be beneficial to bringing on new developers from other ecosystems to Stacks?
We're going to give these guys like
I think you're right. I think the theory to that's always been yes, but for some reason, none of the compiled developers have
AI segment
have gotten significant traction over the last couple of years. And I feel like there's been multiple attempts at this. Like there's people that have written Python ones, JavaScript ones, Rust ones.
Yeah. Cool.
But I feel like for some reason, none of them have gotten like serious traction, and I can't tell you why.
But there was recently some activity around TypeScript to Clarity.
Yeah, so as far as I know, there are some internal efforts from Stacks Labs to turn this into a real thing. There was, I think, Eric from Stacks Labs was discussing about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were some public presentations describing this. So there is something that's being worked on, but I don't know the status.
I feel like we've seen these multiple times, though. I feel like I saw grants for this basically once a year, with different languages, or maybe I'm completely misremembering. But
honestly, all my efforts lately are bringing tests for Clarity smart contract closer to Clarity. So yeah, I'm totally against wrapping. And yeah, because wrapping, like there is a difference. TypeScript types are different from Clarity types.
100%. Yeah.
So it's another point of failure that you can insert there. It's just personal opinion.
I guess, Kwame, an interesting reflection here is like, have any of them caught on to taking over Solidity as well? Because like anytime I've gone over to like writing anything in EVM, I've always just jumped on Solidity. Yeah, and even though it has like fallbacks, like I also haven't seen like a Solidity wrapper that had a lot of traction either. Or maybe I'm just like misinformed there.
No, you're totally correct. I mean, everybody goes, but it's the mind share. Like if you want to build on Ethereum, the first thing you see is Solidity, right? Even though that there's been Viper that was like shilled around for like the big dawn of time. As soon as Solidity was out, there was a Python version because Vitalik writes Python, but that never hit. Even though it's better, quote unquote, to do so. And when I came and started building on Stacks, I didn't see anything else but Clarity. So you just kind of go with what you know. And after a few months of writing a few programs, you kind of get the hang of it, and you just kind of go on your merry way. But in the back of your head, I wish I could write in something that was similar to the language that I write every day. And it's more of an ego thing. It's like, this is the ecosystem. Clarity is the main language. There's a ton of support. It's just me really going out and asking for help, which, I'm a human and sometimes, I don't want to ask for help. But this is really being in the Stacks ecosystem has really humbled me because I have to ask for a lot of support from basically everybody. A little ego death coming over the Stacks, and I like it.
Well, we're happy to have you here, man. And yeah, feel free to tap into anyone here with any questions. Cool. Rafa, do you want to ask DeOrganized that question, and then we can move into Gary's Clarity.
On that topic, I just wanted to say that in my humble, non-humble and egoistic opinion, Clarity is the best for security, and it's really enjoyable. And second, if you really need help, there's something called AI. You can really build a lot of stuff, and you can figure it out. So I'm not entirely sure what Stacks Lab is doing with TypeScript. Probably they have a target segment there. But AI. In terms of the question for you, Deorg, I think the inverse question was interesting. Why would you want a fungible token standard on L1 rather than L2? What are the properties that you get on L1 that you don't on L2? But yeah, I'll pause here.
Personally, I wouldn't. I think that's why your capsule project right now actually has some opportunity here to provide value to the existing Runes token communities if they're engaged, and that's part of it too. We gotta give those communities something to engage with on Stacks. It's just having the opportunity to bridge it in here isn't in and of itself going to bring them here. I think we need to actually create experiences here for them when they get here as part of the equation. But then at that point, why don't they just make a SIP10 token, right? Why don't they, if those experiences exist? So I think a lot of what you're getting in the meta protocol level is more just experimentation. What can I do? It's cool shit. It's kind of interesting having, art is interesting. That's why it exists. And so people like it. And then there's novelty because it's on the L1, but we're all kind of coming to the same conclusion here that it's not really functional there. And I don't know that the value trade-off is there for just being able to say it's on Bitcoin, because you can actually say that about Stacks to a large degree the same way. And if it's more functional, then that's what people are going to use. So, sorry, I that's what I do. I say something in too many words sometimes, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get your answer. I just wanted to say that it's a question for the people on L1. Why do they want it on L1? There's probably something there, but I think it's just an open question without an answer.
Right, because we all kind of agree, we're not really trying to build tokens on the L1. We're trying to give the people that would do that a better option and help them see that. And understanding what the draw is for them to build on the L1 is actually how we're going to be able to figure out the best way to get them to the L2.
So just last word, if you are an entity, you're going to be on L1 for the security of Bitcoin. So you have Bitcoin, the asset itself. Why not having something else that can represent an IOU or bond, which is backed on other layers, for another entity to own, and you cannot freeze their asset, and if they're unhappy with your sort of behavior, they can go on the different layers. This is very vaporwave use case, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, honestly, and after this comment, like we can definitely switch over to Gary, because I want Gary to do his part as well for the new people here. I think Rafa, I think if I had to like think about it, you know, at length, I think what is actually the subpar experience is, again, like trading or doing anything with those assets in the L1. But what is by far the best experience is the authenticity and the verification that happened on the L1. So I think actually what the like setup I would prefer is the L1 is where you go to like to create a supply, or to like initiate a supply or initiate a mint, and that's all you do, and then everything else is done on the L2, because it's where you like start doing things on the L1 where, like, for example, right, the fact that like ruins you have to trade in lots, that's not serious, right? That's just like not a serious thing. Like, I'm never going to take that seriously. But I think the fact that like you mint that asset on the L1 is the powerful property.
I have to counter here, because if you look at the real world, and maybe we can do a video debate with on a pod or something, but you see in the real world that, you know, the Fed wires is almost like the L1, and it's probably very slow, and it probably makes no sense, etc. But they do it once in a while against, you know, commercial banks. They have Fed accounts. Most of the activity happens on the L100, right, where you trust, you 100% trust, you know, these Web2 companies, right? But the L1 still makes sense because it's supposed to be secured. Sometimes it's been hacked, right, in the real world. Not Bitcoin, but yeah, that's my metaphor.
Yeah, but I feel like we're saying the same thing, though. That we're saying like the Fed wire or the Bitcoin layer is slow and clunky, but the most secure, and all the actual like hard activity happens further away from that. So it feels like we're almost saying the same thing there.
Yep. But the only nuance is adding a something other than capital itself. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Gary, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. So, you guys see anything yet? Okay. So, yeah, I found this. I was like looking through these new docs. They look really good. And so kudos to maybe Eric. I'm not really sure who's working on them. But there was this SBTC integration that I thought was kind of cool. And it does a lot of the heavy lifting for anyone that's sort of playing with SBTC. And I just I figured we can just like run through it really quickly. Probably take a few minutes and just get it up, because all the work is really done here. But essentially what it does is it leverages Clarinet. And as you see here, what you're able to do is add the SBTC contract into the project, test the contract with SBTC funds in DevNet, work with SBTC as a fungible token, and deploy the contracts to testnet and mainnet. And really all you need is Clarinet. And so, yeah, I'm just going to go through really from the beginning and create, like a project or whatever. And I think here it's called NFT Marketplace. So we'll just call it that. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to CD into that. Cool. And send from here, what I'm going to do is just really copy and paste this code, which, like I said, does the sort of the heavy lifting here and brings in the SBTC token, the registry contract, and the deposit logic. So if I do that, it updates the Clarinet Toml file, brings everything in, which I think is really, really cool. And then if we go into our, oh, right. Okay, so it's not going to let me a second here. Let me open this up. Okay. Get the terminal in, get rid of this. Get rid of this. All right. So yeah, so we have our contract. We can put in our, I guess, Clarinet contract new, and then call it the NFT marketplace or marketplace NFT, right? What was it? It was NFT marketplace. Perfect. So now we've got our contract, right? In the contracts folder, we've got all the stuff. I'm just going to remove it, and I'm going to keep going down here. Copy and paste this example contract, just so we can kind of play around, make sure that it works as intended. And, you know, maybe makes sense to kind of just go through this. So looks like we're defining a NFT called marketplace NFT. We've got our variable mint price. We've got our variable ID. We've got our mint with SBTC function, which calls that SBTC token contract. Transfer, does the transfer, mints, gets the mint price, sends it to the recipient, mints the NFT itself, updates the ID and sets the new ID. And then it lets us get the balance of the SBTC. So if we were to continue this and get into the actual Clarinet console, which I love, we could start seeing our contract. We've got the contract functions, the ability to mint, to get the balance, as we just saw here, and the assets map. And yeah, let's just go ahead and sort of test these. We've got our, so as you can see, I don't know if it might be a little bit small here, but very quickly you could start to call the contract and run some tests. So for example, the initial balance, okay, and now we can go ahead and start minting. So here is our emitted event, as we're minting with SBTC. And if we want to go in, we have our recipient. But if we want to sort of follow the what's wrong here? Expecting 2 arguments, got 3. Do we need? Let's see. Do we have a get owner? We would need the ID, right? So I'm not sure. I don't think this, would this not work? What thing it's talking about? NFT get owner. Why is that not working?
You're missing an argument?
What am I missing? Is it the address?
Look at the code and you'll see the signature of the function. Marketplace NFT, right?
Yeah, what am I putting in here? No, it's NFT marketplace. I have it here. You mean the actual, the principal?
Look at the function in your Cloudy code, like the one you're calling, and you'll see the signature of the function, what arguments you need.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The NFT get owner is not even a function, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that's, I don't know if that's a typo or I'm missing something, but okay. I'm just going to skip this one for now.
So you have, oh, NFT get owner. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but we minted. If we do get assets map. Oh.
You got one more. You got one more too many arguments.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm not really clear. Anyway, I'll kind of review that separate myself. But yeah, so it looks like the mint did work. So we see here, we've got the marketplace, we've got the token, the money has transferred. So yeah, I think this is really cool. The other thing that I saw here that I thought was really cool was the DevNet functionality. I don't know if that's here. But essentially just being able to spin up the DevNet with SBTC, I think it's part of these docs somewhere. I thought it was really awesome as well. Let's see. Yeah, I think maybe here. Yeah, so we've added the requirements, right? So if we start the DevNet, then, right, so assuming, I had an issue, I don't know what it is, that's the other thing, is like I wanted to sort of figure out if this thing was going to kind of run flawlessly, but I did have an issue setting up the Bitcoin node and the Stacks node. So that's just something interesting to kind of look at. I don't know if that's like a personal thing with me or just kind of figuring out if the Docker, if the container is set up right. But it should, let me see if it opened the clarity option. But it, yeah, so it should sort of spin up all the DevNet container. It started, but it's failing. Driver fail, program externally comes at the end. Okay, so there's some issues to work out. But generally speaking, let me just go to let me actually see. So yeah, I've got it running here, but there was some issue. I know that it seemed like there was issue with the Bitcoin node and the Stacks node. But assuming we can get this working, I just wanted to sort of showcase how good these docs are and how good sort of the entire infrastructure is right now to get us up and running with SBTC. And that's basically it for today. Thank you. I don't know if anyone has any questions. We meet every 2 weeks. I don't know if we're going to meet in 2 weeks from today, only because the holidays. But we'll be back after that in January, and we do have our our DM group. People from Clarity Working Group and Zero to Clarity are both there. So if you have some simple questions, I can answer those. If you have more complex questions, obviously you've seen that people that are writing Clarity and Clarinet are hanging out with us as well. So they should be able to support you. And Hero Gamer is the one that sort of binds us all. So if you have any questions, he's a great point of contact. But otherwise, that's basically it for today, I think, right? Setsus, anything on your end? You're good? Awesome. All right, everybody. So yeah.
Sorry if I cut you off, but in complement to Gary's session, Hero asked how do I start learning, and same Kwame. Kwame, I'm sure it's not for you, but I think it's good to mention that both Gary and I have gone through 100 Days of Clarity, which is a video course by Setsus, and it's pretty cool. 15 minutes every sort of session, and the best way to learn is just to start. And this is from scratch, from zero. So there's a couple of them on YouTube. It's not entirely free, but it's worth it.
Yeah, and actually, I don't think me and Rafa planned this, but it was sort of right after the release, I think, and me and him kind of started right around the same time. So get a buddy, because it, kind of motivated both of us to stay on track and get it done. So that's the other thing I would recommend. And if you guys want, we can even do something like in the DM group, get a group together or something like that for you guys if it's helpful. So.
Yeah, and at the time there was a boot camp as well. I don't know if it's still the case. I would definitely join Gary's sessions if I were to start from scratch and complement with the 100 Days of Clarity if you're serious. Just do everything you can to learn.
Definitely. Yep. Well, I'm still learning. I'm always learning. I just I love learning out loud because it helps me and hopefully helps some of you. All right, everybody. Kwame, you have a question?
Sorry, one last question. What is the best resource for learning how to integrate the Stacks.js library with your with your Clarity smart contracts.
I mean, for me, it's the Stacks.js docs. I don't know if you've seen. I think they're on version 7 now.
Yeah, like it's good for like doing more like the tests and just kind of like running a script and having it go through a bunch of stuff, but actually getting like the UI like with say like React.js, like that more, you know, touchy feely from a like an end user's point of view.
Yeah, I think I started like when we first started this like a year ago. I think I had a couple of classes on it, and I probably have a Canva. I got to take a look. But I feel like that would be good to have maybe someone that's like a JavaScript pro to go in and kind of run through it all. There's something to think about. But yeah, I mean, I remember referencing the docs, but
There's some video made by Rosar. I don't know how advanced it is for you, Kwame, but he goes.
All right, guys. There was definitely a lot of good information, a great episode, a great session of the Clarity Working Group. Tons of big brains in the ecosystem and new blood coming in all the time with lots of great questions. I hesitated to even cut it off there, but I'm pretty sure they're wrapped up, and I didn't want to delay this any further because we do have some really great stuff lined up with 3HANA and the AI Guild. Apologize for the delay, guys, but here we are. We're ready for you. If you guys are ready for us, we're happy to have you. Real quick, just want to shout out Eric from X Inc. in the live chat. What's up, brother? And yeah, that was a great Clarity session, by the way. Like, awesome stuff. Michael got to jump in. By the way, Mike, keep that link handy because that's the same link they do every 2 weeks. You should absolutely be jumping into that when you can. So what do we have on the agenda today for the working group? I mean, for the for the AI Guild.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to have Binta in here so she can show us what she learned from the previous lessons, so we can finish it off. My slide.
All right, so is she? Oh, did she just jump in?
I got Hero jumping in now.
All right, here's Hero.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep, coming through loud and clear, bro.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. We're just waiting on Benta. I guess we're waiting on Benta. I think she's coming. Let me actually make sure she. Did you send her the link, Hana?
In the meantime, in between time, I can kind of kill time. You know what I'm saying? If you need me to.
We call that filling.
That's what they said.
Sheesh. So while we wait, I have this bookmark I wanted to show you guys, which I thought was a pretty good development. Let me pull up my bookmarks real quick. Check this out. So the financial system is changing. Eligible PNC Bank private bank clients can now access Bitcoin trading directly within their banking experience. No extra accounts, no extra friction. This is what the future of finance built on Coinbase looks like. So this is a pretty big deal. You know, I wonder if this will create somewhat of a domino effect and other banks start to allow their clients to trade Bitcoin directly with banking apps.
It's part of a domino effect that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Actually. This is becoming this is, I think, the third bank I've heard kind of getting into this. Bank of America. It was either earlier this week or probably not earlier this week because that was just yesterday. Must have been later in the week last week. Bank of America announced something, and we talked about that being like a domino effect.
Yep.
And then there's been two since then.
So it's two more. since
Right.
when we talked about it.
Have you heard of CBBTC?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if that's how they're transacting.
Is it the traditional? Does it mean traditionally what CB means? Like I used to call one of my sons CB when he was little because he would always get in the way and interrupt.
I think CBBTC is SBTC by Coinbase, from what I understand.
Oh, it's like SBTC, but on Coinbase rather than on Stacks. So it's not Bitcoin finality like on Stacks. It's a substandard Bitcoin derivative.
I don't know that to be true. That could be true. We could ask Grok right now.
Ask him.
Want to try it, GPSC?
By the way, I like Coinbase. I use Coinbase. I think that having a player like Coinbase legitimizes crypto. But I want to make one distinction here. What's being offered here with PNC Bank is Bitcoin, not crypto. I mean, Bitcoin is a part of crypto, but it's specifically Bitcoin that they're adopting here.
But
it's not everything else.
No, but I'm asking, like, is what's powering this solution BTC or CBBTC? That's what I want to find out. I think it's CBBTC.
Well, CBBTC doesn't exist without BTC anyway. So it's BTC anyway.
Yeah.
Right? But I get your point. Why is Coinbase announcing this? Yeah, Coinbase is announcing this because they're the custodial agent for most of these entities. However, I don't think that necessarily means that the asset is CBBTC. It just gives them more liquidity with which it strengthens their network, and so further adds longevity to the CBBTC, the existence of CBBTC. I don't think you're holding CBBTC and PNC Bank. I think you're holding Bitcoin.
Also having access to trade, you're able to, buy and sell, place limit orders and stuff like that. Like, I wonder what the trading experience is like over there.
Because you can trade BTC on Coinbase and it's not CBBTC. You have to swap them to have one versus the other.
Can you, GPSC, can you compare SBTC with CBBTC? I'm just curious.
Or SBTC.
SBTC, specify that it's on Stacks. We're waiting for Binta. Let me see if she got my message. It's always hit or miss now.
All right, let's break this down. So, overview. SBTC and the CBBTC are both one-to-one Bitcoin-backed tokens designed to bring BTC liquidity into DeFi ecosystems, enabling uses like lending, borrowing, and trading on programmable blockchains. SBTC is native to Stacks, a Bitcoin layer 2, emphasizing decentralization and Bitcoin security model, while CBBTC is issued by Coinbase for Ethereum and compatible chains like Base and Solana, prioritizing seamless integration with Coinbase's infrastructure. Launched in September 2024, CBBTC has seen faster initial adoption due to Coinbase's user base, but SBTC, launched in December 2024, is gaining traction in Bitcoin native DeFi with uncapped deposits since September 2025 and rapid TVL growth. So here's your key comparisons here. Got the issued protocol, of course, Stacks Foundation launching SBTC, and then Coinbase with CBBTC backing and peg. So with SBTC, there's a one-to-one BTC backed trust minimized two-way peg using Stacks smart contracts and Bitcoin rights. Records transactions on Bitcoin L2 for finality, whereas CBBTC is a one-to-one BTC-backed custodial pegged managed by Coinbase with an internal audit, but no public proof of reserves yet. Ooh, wow. Here we go. So for decentralization, SBTC is high. secured by 100% Bitcoin hash power via proof of transfer, uses a decentralized network of 150 plus signers, requiring 70% consensus for deposits and withdrawals, permissionless reclamation via taproot addresses, audited by asymmetric research, and immune-fi bug bounties. CBBTC is low on decentralization, relies on Coinbase as a single custodian, introducing counterparty risk, integrated with centralized minting and redemption. And we get into other. Is there any specific category that you'd like me to check out? Like,
No, I'm good. Again, I don't know the answer to any of these questions. I'm happy you did this. It further helps me understand what Stacks' positioning is vis-a-vis the other options. Oh, hey, Benta, how's it going?
Seems she might be having some stability issues. What's up, Benta? You with us?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Hey, yeah.
My screen is black. I can't see anyone.
Oh, you can't see your camera is also black. Actually, there's no camera going.
Your screen is 300.
I've been trying to connect and it keeps taking me out. I don't know why.
So you can't see us. That might make it hard.
Wait a minute. Coinbase delisted WBTC in 2024? Interesting. Huh.
Getting ready for CBBTC.
Well, that's what CBBTC is WBTC, but
Coinbase's version.
Coinbase.
Yeah.
Which I can see. Well, like, would you want to trust a not very decentralized third-party asset when you're already a centralized entity and you probably have more security than they do with WBTC? So why would you support it? You're muted, Mike.
Can you read the last two sentences? Those last two sentences, I think, are key for Stacks not being the Stacks CMO.
All right, let me see here. So the last portion, I'll just read this current status. So SBTC's TVL has surged post uncapping. Is that what you're talking about, or this?
Yes, please. Yeah, the current status. I think that's really key.
Right.
Yeah.
So as of December 2025, SBTC's TVL has surged post uncapping, with protocols like Zest and Bitflow driving 10 to 30% APYs. CBBTC dominates ETH DeFi, but faces criticism amid WBTC centralization issues. Coinbase delisted WBTC in 2024. For BTC holders seeking yield without custody, SBTC edges out the more trust minimized option. Edges out as the more trust minimized option. CBBTC suits Coinbase loyalist. Watch dual stacking on Stacks for SBTC's next growth phase.
It's not bad, right? So if you were going to describe, if you're sitting in front of someone with 100 million of Bitcoin, let's say, and, Stacks might have the same customers as Coinbase. Am I wrong on that? In terms of yield and where to park your thing? And right?
There's definitely overlap. There's clearly overlap.
Right? But I'm really trying to understand, again, as I'm traveling to places and I'm explaining, like at the Monad Hackathon, what Stacks is to folks. How do I position Stacks vis-a-vis the competing offers that a Bitcoin treasury company might have in terms of generating yield with their assets?
There is definitely so the biggest differentiator is that Stacks is built to be Bitcoin centric. The whole purpose for the Stacks ecosystem is to act as a program layer to add to the functionality of Bitcoin. And so it's been built that way. And so SBTC is unique in that it has the bridge is secure. It's secured by a new way. It's not just a federated bridge with a multi-sig. It requires the user signature. The user has to have the assets. There's a lot of security there. Plus, you have Bitcoin finality. All of the transactions on Stacks are on the L1. You
So
don't have
everything you
that.
said there, like that to me is the pitch to institutional investors.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
that is the pitch. That's the pitch to builders.
yeah.
That's the pitch to users that are, it's Bitcoin is the underlying asset that makes everything else in crypto work. Without Bitcoin, there is nothing. There is no Ethereum without Bitcoin. Ethereum doesn't get built without Bitcoin having been adopted first. Ethereum was built for the same purpose as Stacks, except for it wasn't tied to Bitcoin. Stacks solved the problem of being able to do programmability with leveraging Bitcoin blockchain security. So that's the difference.
Yeah, my only point is let's emphasize that as like a 60-second thing. You know what I mean? Right? Because again, as I travel here, there, and everywhere, I'm talking to Ethereum folks. Dev Connect, right? Buenos Aires, a lot of Ethereum folks. I'm going to Monad. Monad is in layer 1 that's EVM compatible. And everywhere I go, I don't care if they are on Ethereum, they own more Bitcoin than Ethereum. You understand?
Right. Ethereum users are Bitcoin users.
Come on. They're the same people.
So Blockface, I think the stuff that you're touching on is kind of marketing question, right? How do we position ourselves as a narrative? So just as I've been kind of coordinating working groups lately, I think this is a valid suggestion to bring up to Brandon, who is hosting the community marketing working group on,
I think it's on Wednesdays now.
Wednesday. So I think this is something that can be brought
Right on
up
top of the Zest town hall
officially and say, hey, you guys, we've been hearing this, and I think it's important that we do some content or narrative around this.
And the reason I think of it is because one of Stacks' I think core target market segments are Bitcoin treasury companies. And I think about if they haven't gotten it yet, is it that they haven't been pitched yet, or they have been pitched and maybe these features, attributes, and benefits haven't been articulated, or maybe this is the perfect time to re-articulate them with such and such clarity. Pun intended.
So, shall we?
Yes.
Marketing. I call it sales. I wrote a book called "Fuck Marketing" on the plane, but sales marketing. Right? Here, here's the book.
I cannot wait to see it. Are you releasing GitHub?
Yeah, it's on GitHub already. Yeah.
Really? Can you send me the link? Because I'll definitely feed it through AI.
Look, I already fed it through AI. I'll send you the link here, right now with it. Yeah, it's a notebook I love.
So, 300, do you want to start your class?
Oh, wait a minute. Bench is gone.
Oh, is she here? No, she's gone. No, she dropped out, but we're going to get started. So we're not prolonging this for the whole day. I do have a noon.
No, you don't.
I do have a noon segment. So we have about an hour and 45 minutes to go.
But I thought Bento was the whole reason we were doing this. Am I wrong, Diana?
Well, that was the plan. So, Hunter, Hunter, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm lagging a bit because it's now raining and sun is down. So I have a few minutes to do this if there's still time.
There's definitely time. Binta's not with us, so you're just going to have to kind of go solo, I think. Are you prepared for that?
Born ready.
Yeah, I shouldn't have even asked. I've already got the answer to that 3 times now. All right, take it away, man. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Who's driving the bus?
Look at me.
All right.
I'm driving. So, yep. as we continue the lesson that we started few days ago, right now we just want to look at the platforms where we can publish the songs that we have already created with Suno. So let's jump on the slide and go into the slide a bit. So the slide is here. So that is AI music. AI music features created by machine learning, generates lyrics, vocals, creates beats effortlessly, supports all genres, enhances creativity, encourages experimentation, makes music accessible. And also, we saw that AI music is fast compared to IRL. AI is now helping us to make music much quicker, much faster, effortlessly. So we have these powerful tools that we have here. So we only touched on Suno. And also, I recently discovered another one called Moesis. Moesis. I'll look at the link. So that Moesis is also another tool that can help you get the stems. So, so can you hear me, guys? Because I'm seeing that it's saying that it's muted my side.
We can hear you. There's a little bit of static coming from your mic, I think, but we can hear you.
Okay, how about now?
I can still hear you. Still a little bit of static, but it's not. It's
static.
It's not that
Okay.
bad. It's just a little. It's like more like background noise.
Oh, it's rain. It's raining.
Oh, that's okay. That's what it is. Picking up the rain.
Okay, so let me check. Let me check my. Oh, now I see. It was talking through my webcam mic. Let me try to connect my mic, but I have to like restart everything. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, and much clearer.
Oh yeah, I saw that it was talking through my webcam mic, so I think now I'm.
Now you sound damn sexy. Keep going. Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, I was saying that I discovered another tool called Moesis. I'm still learning it. It also does almost the similar thing with Suno. So yeah, let me look at it. Moesis. Let me get the link and share it right away. Okay, give me a moment here. Moesis. Okay, so it was still loading. So we also talked about how you can prompt a nice song and AI music. You can prompt from style, mood, genre, theme, audience, tempo, keys, and content of the song. And what else did we touch on? So we touched on Suno, writing, generated track. We wanted to talk more about editing the song and the extending and downloading. And we want to touch on creating album arts using Gemini, Nano Banana. Those are the best tools. And jump onto exporting the music to these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, ads, or even kids content. So I'm going to teach you also how to post this on your socials using hooks. So yeah, this is the tool that I've been talking about, which is called Moesis. You can check it out. Let's say you're finished making your song and you want to get more stems. You can do it with Suno, but this one I saw that it's There's much more tools here. There's mastering of your songs. I'll post this link in the description. Let me share it. Let me share it. So, so let's go to Suno right now. Let's go to Suno. So, little music.
Looks like Hunter's getting a little. Yeah, you were lagging out for a minute, but you're back.
Okay, seems like I'm lagging this side. I can't hear you.
Ah.
Can you hear me now?
Whoop. We lost his screen share. Well, it looks like we lost your screen share. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, apologies. Yeah, apologies. I'm lagging because, yeah, the rain is too much outside. It's storms this side. Yeah, it's kind of a connectivity. So, yeah, it's going to be a wild.
That's how we do. It's the DeOrganized way. But we'll keep trying. See if we can get it going. All right. Your Suno looks to be working better now. I think he's just having too many connectivity issues. Dropped off again.
300, if you take off your video, do you think it might work? So that it's not competing for bandwidth? Yeah, try it.
I can't see
you. We can hear you. It's definitely a little laggy.
Oh, 300 is DJ from Street Fighter today.
And every day.
Oh, damn. It is raining.
Oh, I thought he was going to show. I thought he had another cow at the window. What were you going to say, Hero?
I was just saying it's incredible. Like 300 is having difficulty despite having Starlinks.
with rain. So right now, even my headset, I can't hear nothing because the rain is too much because of our roofing.
Rain link.
Or, the rain's breaking the chain link.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were talking about with Blocklift, another project from DeGrants.
You guys gotta explain that one to me. I haven't had a chance to catch up much. I've seen them all over the place.
Essentially, social impact, like to put it simply, going to school, helping the kids.
They're being given the backpacks, right? They've been given the backpacks.
Yeah, that's as far as I actually know. I haven't actually read into the project itself. There are too many DeGrants projects. It's really hard to have the visibility of everybody. But yeah, I think essentially they are going to school, helping the kids, giving them stuff. but I think they do it seemingly very professionally across several places. But anyways, my point was I was talking to him about how like if we can do something with them basically, because Resh had an idea. What if we told them AI? I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't we teach kids AI? Anyways, and I was thinking, okay, what do the kids actually have equipment wise? And only 50% of the kids have probably a cell phone, and some of them might be old. But also, the school might not even have electricities in some of the places.
That's a
So
problem.
they needed to get a electricity generator on the day of their arrival in order for them to visit properly. Anyways, just some challenges there.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. Oh, Hunter, you back?
Apologies,
Oh,
guys.
yeah, you're looking good.
Apologies. Technical difficulties, natural nature is against me now.
Yeah, your video is looking sharp.
Yeah, you're way more stable now.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, it's a bit lagging my side, so I don't know if I'm able to present. Yeah.
Well, let's try one more time, and if we can't, we'll push it to Thursday morning segment.
Yeah, if we cannot, maybe Blockface. I heard he has some Gemini stuff he can teach us.
I think today it's a difficulty.
Right.
So
We'll just move over
did you see the video that I showed you? It's the way how it's raining outside.
Yes. It's definitely coming down today in your neck of the woods. All right, so let's do this. We'll segue into Blockface. What do you got for us, man?